Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger and welcome to a special edition of Ni no Kuni walkthrough. Of course, this is the training episode where basically I go off before we head to the Miasma marshes. I will head off and train up our familiars and our teammates as well, in order to make sure that we go in there and we do relatively well. So I decided to train up to, I believe, level 40 for Mighty Might, and I think that Oliver ends up being about level 47. I think that Esther is right around there too, something along the lines of 46 or so. And you'll see a really cool spot to train where there are these enemies called tokus or tacos, not like the delicious food that is taco. By the way, I finally tried tacos. I was so embarrassed about never having tried tacos, but I think a week ago or so I tried tacos. It was fantastic. We were at this Mexican restaurant. So tasty that stuff is. But I really sound like a noob right now. But of course, this is the questions and answers episode video. So you guys ask some questions. I'm going to go ahead and answer those while you get to enjoy watching some super fast time gameplay, training gameplay, I guess. So let's get rolling. I actually did not get a lot of questions, to my surprise, honestly. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing in terms of you guys participating or not. But for those of you that did submit a question, thank you very, very much. For you have made this episode possible. And on top of that, you get a nice little shout out. So let's get rolling. First question is, well, actually two questions from Oscar Kjellson, or it's Kjellsson. And he asks, first question is, are you going to do a walkthrough for Skylanders Swap Force? Yes, I will be doing that for sure. I'm very excited about Skylanders Swap Force. I think that there's a lot of cool things that they're going to be implementing. I really like the fact that you're going to be able to kind of mix and match the idea of having, the legs are going to be acting as the mobility, kind of like what kind of way you want to move. So you could be like jumping or running or like floating and things like that. So that's really cool. And then the upper body will give you your attacks and power-ups. So I really love the fact of how many possibilities there could be there. So I'm excited to see what they can pull off with that. I'm just hoping that it's not one of those things where it's coming out a little bit too quickly. I mean, it almost seems like at this point we're getting a brand new Skylanders game every year. And I mean, some franchises like Pokemon have started to do that as well, because they make a lot of money, just like Skylanders does. I just hope that the game is good, and I think that Skylanders Giants was a great game, so I'm excited to play this one, and I'm staying optimistic about it being a successful title and a fun title to play. Alrighty, next question that he asks is, what is your favorite character? This is pretty easy. I think my favorite character is Drippy, just because of the fact that his voiceovers are so unique. That Welsh accent is just something so unique, that because of that, he's so memorable in my mind right away. He's got a very unique delivery to him, and he's got a very, cute and fun character as well to go on top of that. I think Oliver might be actually one of my least favorite characters, surprisingly, even though he's the protagonist. But really, because of the fact that I feel like his voiceovers are very, like, hello, my name is Oliver. Oh, gee, let's go save him. Like, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of emotion in the way that he's being delivered to us. So, again, it shows you just how important it is to have, like, a really, not eventful, I was going to say eventful, but emotional delivery to the actual performance, you know what I mean? I hope I'm getting that across well. I hope that my emotion is coming across well. All right, then I don't see whose name is by here. I wrote it down and I forgot to write the nickname. I think it might have been Oscar as well. He asks, can you do some more Skylanders? Yes, guys, there's Skylanders going up all the time. Yes, it's not consistent in terms of like every day there's a Skylanders video, but it's really one of those things that I kind of do them as I get to them. It's not anything that I super duper rush. For example, like with the review videos, with the Skylander review videos, I usually try to level up the Skylanders at least to like level 10 before I even start. So that takes a bit of an investment, of time to actually play that. And then on top of that, I can't just be playing Skylanders all the time because I have other games to be playing and finishing up. So I'm really proud of the fact that over the last few days I finished up Mario, I finished up Dead Space. So I'm getting progress done there. By the way, an announcement here, I'm not going to be going back to Borderlands 2 because my save file got deleted when I was transferring it from one Xbox to the other. It, like, for some reason, when I try to copy it over to the new one, it just would say, like, file is corrupt or file is missing or something like that. So I can't finish that walkthrough, and with the whole shenanigans with Gearbox right now and Aliens, I'm not much of a supporter for that company. Not too happy about that anyways. Alrighty, what was the other one? Grimlockimus Prime. That's an awesome name. Good job, dude. Grimlockimus Prime asks, will you be doing a 100% completion series for Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch? You know, the extra quests. This is something that I considered to do, and I think that I might be doing that, but somewhere down the line. Like, I won't finish this game and then go into the extra quests. I think it might be one of those things that it's kind of like sporadically, every now and then you'll see like an episode of Ni no Kuni extra quests, and that's a might, just because, I mean, it's already such a big investment of time. I mean, I've got over 50 parts already of Ni no Kuni. I mean, that's 50 videos of one game, so it definitely requires a big commitment from me. And to do a 100% completion of this game would be something that would probably make me start pulling my hair out and getting frustrated in many situations. But that being said, I think that I'm not saying that the game is frustrating or anything like that. I just think that doing a walkthrough, a 100% completion walkthrough for a Japanese role-playing game is a very big task, and something that is... you really have to be kind of fully committed to it because of the sheer amount of cool stuff that you can get done in the game. And if I were to do it, I would want to do it justice and not just kind of shoo it in. So you might see that, but it would be kind of on a sporadic occasion, so not consistently. Like, you won't be seeing consistent episodes one after another. Alrighty, where was the other one? One person actually commented, 98 Ofek Cohen commented, you should be at least level 60 in forced fight Shadar, so I guess before I fight Shadar. I mean, level 60 is really high, so I think I'll be fine. I did buy a bunch of items at the end of this as well, so I'm hoping that I'll be okay. I really hope to God that you don't need to be level 60, because that's really that's way up there, you know what I mean? And that would require a huge time commitment to go up all the way to level 60 before I even get to him. I mean, Oliver's level 47, so I'm not too far away anyway, but I hope to God that it's going to be good. Alright, Stephen Fanning asks, by the way, you should do a blind playthrough on Pokemon X and Y. I strongly recommend Pokemon Y though, but be warned, it is for the 3DS. Yes, I know about Pokemon X and Y. I'm very excited about the fact that it's going to be a 3D handheld Pokemon game, because of course there have been 3D games. A lot of people ignored that, Stadium and Stadium 2. So sorry, not Stadium. Gale of Darkness and Coliseum. There it is. Not Stadium. Even though those work like with 3D models, but it wasn't a traditional Pokemon game. So I am excited about that. It looks cool. I watched the trailer. All the Pokemon look cool. I'm probably going to go with Froakie just because he looks freaking adorable. He's probably going to be my choice. But the big issue about doing a walkthrough is the fact that I don't know how to record off the DS. So the only way I would know how to do that is like point the camera. I have heard of these 3DS capture, like kind of like a built-in capture card. And I checked into it, and it's like a $600 piece of equipment. So if I were to do that, I mean, it would be somewhere down the line where I could afford to buy something like that to just do walkthroughs, you know? But that being said, I am a big fan of the Pokemon series. Pokemon White and Pokemon Black and White, I liked. Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 was not as much of a cool experience, just because I really liked the direction that they were heading with Black and White, to where they were, you know, kind of focusing on a story and actually telling you something instead of just, you know, rinse and repeat the same formula that we had before. And then they kind of went away from that with Black 2 and White 2, so I didn't really like that. But I hope that answers your question. Next up, we've got Niels Cederberg, who asks, what is your favorite game ever? Now, I've been asked this question many a times, and I mean many times. And usually I answer that I don't have a game that is my favorite game and everything like that, just because there is one game that I really have a like a soft spot in my heart for. And I've always been kind of like embarrassed to say that that might possibly be my favorite game just because of nostalgia reasons. And that game is actually WCW Mayhem, which was developed by EA. It was a PlayStation 1 game. It had like, I remember the most coolest part about it was the entrance, like the kind of pre-scroll to the game had like Bill Goldberg, like how they are making him out of machinery and everything, and then he breaks out, and it had a really cool beginning to the game. But the reason why that game is my favorite is because I remember going on this one trip with my mom, and basically there were some like visa issues or something like that, and we ended up getting like unable to get into the country. We were going to Egypt on just a tourism thing, and there were some visa issues with my passport, so my mom's was fine, and they were like, yeah, we can't let your son in, blah blah blah. So what they ended up doing is like we were like escorted out by all these police officers. It was like a really stressful thing and messed me up for a long time about flying. I hated planes, and I hated having the possibility of again experiencing that because I mean there were like cops walking us like we were some criminals or something, just because my visa did not fit or some along the, I don't know what the actual technical reasoning behind it, but it freaked me the hell out. And when we landed, basically I was freaked out and all that. We landed back in Israel. That's where we were flying from to go to Egypt. We landed, and my mom knew that I wanted a PlayStation for a long time. I'd always go to my friend's house. Like we've never been like super duper rich or anything, so just middle class, but we could never quite afford it because in Israel, I mean, it's really expensive to get a game system. But when we landed, my mom was like, you know what, since the tickets are like, we're going to get refunded and everything. And she went ahead and bought me a PS1. And the one game that I picked out, I was just getting into wrestling at the time as well, was this WCW Mayhem game. And that's the one I chose. And because games were like, basically games were 300 to 400 shekels, and shekels are about a 3-to-1 ratio to Canadian dollars. So it's about $100 per game. So basically that's the reason why I didn't get any games for a long time until basically then they started dropping in price when the PlayStation 2 came out and all that, and then I started to gather up a collection of PS1 games. But initially that was the only game I had, and I would play that game for hours and hours and for years. Like there would be 2 or 3 years straight where that was the only game I had, and that's all I played. I played that to the ground. Then I was given Resident Evil 3, which I have a like a soft spot for that game as well, because that's the one I played after for a long time. And then I also got Driver, which was like a, you know, there's a new addition to it, like Driver San Francisco, just recently. So it was that game, and it got like our family friends gave us like the wheel and pedals, and it was fantastic. So those 3 games are really kind of the games that I usually go to say that they're my favorite games, because they're the games that got me into gaming. Even though I did play Mario on the NES and things like that, but I never got into, because I was so young at that time, I couldn't appreciate games for what they were. And when I got the PS1 and everything, I was like, I would actually be able to understand, you know, oh, this is so cool, and I really enjoyed those 3 titles. So those 3 definitely jumped to mind as some of my all-time favorite games. So that looks like about it in terms of the oh no, there's another one. What is the next game that you're planning to record next? Well, that's a little redundant, by the way. But as most of you have noticed, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is what I've been playing. What an awesome game. Such a fantastic game. Really good. Early runner in my top 5 for 2013. I'm really enjoying this title. It's really fun. It's really unique. It's really got its own kind of unique personality. So if you're into kind of like Japanese esque games, and if you're a fan of the Metal Gear franchise and designs and everything, definitely pick this one up. It's a really fun experience. Then I've got a couple of questions that I get a lot of times, which is, how do you record things? I use an HD PVR and a Yeti microphone, so look those up on Google. HD PVR, there's 2 versions. My buddy actually, Gamer55561, he has the gaming edition, and that one is really cool. If you only have HDMI ports, go with that version. If not, then the regular HD PVR will work just fine for you. That's what I'm using. I'm using just the first model of the HD PVR. And then the other thing that I wanted to cover just a tiny little bit while we still have some footage here is the PlayStation event. A lot of people wrote some comments who I think are Microsoft fanboys. And the other thing is also a lot of gaming media have been saying like, oh, the PlayStation is dead and that was a horrible presentation. I don't know what you guys are watching. Like, they announced the PlayStation 4. They announced some games. Yes, they didn't announce Uncharted and all that, but there's E3 still. They needed to keep something. If they came to E3 and been like, oh, but we already showed you everything, what's the point of us being here? Of course, then at E3, when all the eyeballs are in the gaming industry, like big websites, you know, Fox and all these big networks are covering E3, and then the biggest news are going to be coming out from Microsoft. So it makes no sense for them to show everything. I thought that it was a great presentation. I thought that what they needed to get done in this presentation, they did. Yes, there was a little bit too much technical mambo jumbo, and I voiced that as my concern, and I said that that wasn't perfect. But I think that they set out their goals. They explain what they're going to try to do with this generation. They said that they're going to focus on simplicity, focus on great games, and focus on making that making all of that a social experience as well. So I think that it was a really, really great presentation. I think that we did see some great games like Infamous Second Son. We saw some more Watch Dogs gameplay, which was awesome. We saw some Destiny stuff like images and things like that, which was cool. We saw Capcom's Dragon's Dogma sequel. We saw a whole bunch of really cool things. We saw Killzone Shadowfall, which looks like a great first-person shooter. We saw exclusives, which is really cool. I mean, it just shows you that with the next generation, they're still going to be supporting the idea of having some exclusives content on their own console, and I think that that's a great idea. I think that the overall presentation was delivered well, and I just don't get how gamers aren't excited about this, and how gaming media is like, oh, that was horrible. Like, if there's any industry that needed a jolt in the arm right about now, it's the gaming industry, and this has given it to us, and I don't know why there's like a lack of excitement. It looks great. There's a lot of great titles coming, and all the possibilities that they showed with the technology and everything looks phenomenal. But I don't want to go off on a complete rant, so there you have it, guys. This is going to bring this particular episode of Ni no Kuni to a conclusion. I hope you guys enjoyed this little special Q&A edition, and of course, on the next episode, we're going to be heading off to Miasma Marshes, where we will hopefully take on Shadar. So make sure to tune in next time. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. You guys are freaking fantastic. Hit that like button, subscribe, share the videos, favorite the videos. You guys are super duper awesome. Love you all. Peace out, guys. And don't forget, tune in February 28th for my vlog / giveaway / cool thing announcement. So, yeah, I'll catch you guys there. Peace out and see you later.